everyone. I am so excited to be joined by Yvette Nicole Brown.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for asking me.
How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm doing okay. Listen, it's a weird time for everybody. I'm doing as well as I can be doing with all the things converging right now in our nation. So, but today's a good day. So I'm going to say I feel okay today.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I know there's so many different emotions going on. You know, before I got on this call with you or this interview, it's interesting because I've been on social media and I was thinking about this for myself too, that Juneteenth is such an important day. Yet
Yeah.
why are there so many people who are just finding out about it or were not educated about it for so long? So I was thinking about you. And I kept thinking, how do you process that? Because it's such an important, pivotal day. And yet so many of us don't know about it, didn't know about it.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's not taught in schools because nothing that is our history that's taught in schools is really white history. White people are portrayed as the great inventors and the great, discoverers and the great everything. And so everything is filtered through that lens. So anyone that is a marginalized person of color in this country, our milestones and the things that are important to us are not celebrated. And that's why we could have, Confederate flags and statues to Confederate generals that are just in state capitals in 2020. Like, that's ridiculous. Then you add in the fact that a lot of people just realize that systemic racism exists in the last 3 months. Right. So if they didn't even know that microaggressions and actual aggressions were happening every day, they're not going to know about one day where while the black folks celebrate our final independence. So, it's an interesting thing. But the funny thing about being black in America is that it's really hard to shock us at this point. Like, we really are. We know what all of it is, and so now we're just trying to help everybody else get up to speed on the things that we've already known. We live in this nation, so we know what it is.
But I feel like there's 2 points to that too, because yes, you've been living through so much of it, and now, like you said, it's a shock. But it's almost like, oh, okay, well, but we want to educate. Do you sometimes feel like, yes, I want to educate, but I can't take that sole burden of educating you on everything?
Yeah, but you know what the great thing is? I think that everyone in America has gotten the memo that black people are tired. Yeah. First of all, everybody else is starting to see what we've always known, which is great. And it's sad that it took Mr. Floyd's death to make people really see what's going on, and then all the police, the violence from the police on the peaceful protesters, that kind of stuff has opened people's eyes. So, and then once everyone's eyes were opened, the allies that knew how tired we are have been telling their friends, don't be calling them black people with like crazy, asking them to tell you what book to read. You better get on that Google machine and figure it out for yourself. So thankfully, even my friends that have called to say, I had a friend, dear friend, text me today, and he was like, it's Juneteenth, and I would like to support you. And I just, I'm not going to keep you long. I'm just wondering, is there an organization that you think I should donate to? And I was like, the King Center in Atlanta, Dr. Bernice King is doing great things. She's furthering the legacy of her father and her mother. The King Center is where you should give your money. And he was like, thank you, done. And he was out of there. So it wasn't belaboring the point. It wasn't like, teach me your ways. He's doing the work. He just wanted to donate today and needed a quick answer as to where is my money best used today, or what's a great symbolic gesture in regards to who I choose to give money to today. We're there for that all day. What we're not there for is someone going, what's racism? Or are you sure there's racism?
Does it exist?
We don't have time for that. We all now know that it does exist, and there's books about it, and white fragility is the best one to start with, and just, get your own education and keep on moving.
Right. And I think there's enough proof in front of your eyes as well, if you have any doubts or questions. But, Yvette, what I love about you so much is that you come from such a place of love and grace, and you are so active on social media. I mean, I feel I've learned so much from you. Uh-huh. And through your post, you're constantly interviewing different people and the posts that you share. So for you personally, what's that driving message or important message that you want to share with people that are tuning into your social media?
I tend to pop in and do Instagram lives and such when I feel in my spirit that I need to just check in. I think of them as check-ins, not even interviews so much, because most of the people popping on are not even, public people. It's just, someone that scrolls up in the feed and says, I'd like to go live with you. I have something to say. And I'm like, well, let's hear what you got to say. So I just love opening it up for anyone that anywhere in the world that wants to say something. And every time I click, connect, and their little face pops up. If anyone's seen my Instagram lives, I'm always so delighted to see their little faces. Like they always are. There's joy and there's love coming out of them. Their eyes are always bright and shining, and they're super happy to be there, and I'm happy to be there. And it's a great moment for us to connect, two strangers to connect as human beings. Because the thing is, there's more that connects us than separates us. And even in the midst of seeing all the horror, you can tell who the hateful people are. Like there's no more Trojan horses and hooded people anymore. The people that are horrible are remaining horrible, and they are fighting for hate. They are standing on the side of hate. But there are more people that care and love all, and we are fighting the good fight. So I think it's important for those of us that are publicly speaking to not spend so much time like this on the ones that don't get it and have determined and decided that they never will get it, and instead do this with the ones that actually want to learn and who are already moving in the direction to make things better. We have to make this better, because otherwise, what kind of world do we have? No. I don't want folks having to march in the streets forever. And that's people got to go home. It's a doggone pandemic. I want them to go home and wash their hands and relax. So we have to make the world better so they can go home. Right. Because as long as it's crazy, they're going to be marching, and I understand it.
No, and I think if we've looked at the history too, it's like you said, enough is enough, and it's time. And I think it's so interesting to me because I feel like this pandemic, everything that's been happening is no surprise to me. Yeah. It was conspired by the universe.
I agree.
For us to wake up. And
I agree.
I wanted to mention because it is so important to talk to people, to have conversations, to listen. And the fact that a celebrity of your caliber is opening up your platform,
What celebrity? Come on.
Please. Okay. You want to hear something? Yeah. I actually had somebody I was talking to from India, and I told her that I was going to be interviewing you today. She had a complete fangirl moment. She was like,
what?
Yvette from Drake and Josh. Oh my God, I'm in love with her.
Oh my God. I am always so surprised to hear that. You've met me, you know me. I'm just regular. Like I don't understand that. And no judgment, because I'm a huge fan. Everybody that knows me knows I love Janet Jackson. I love CeCe Winans. I love The Walking Dead. So I am a fan of people myself. So I get it. I just don't understand why anybody's doing that with me, because I'm a regular Joe. You know what I mean? And I don't traffic in that. I don't think there's any value in, acting like you're so special. I think everybody's special. Yeah. So it's just, but it's so funny to hear that, because I don't feel that at all. I don't feel like that at all.
And you say when we met, like, I think that was one of the things that my heart felt so connected to you, because so many people in this industry, as do you. And there's very few times that you meet someone and there's just love and light emitted from them. And the minute I met you at rehearsal, I was like, I like her a lot.
I felt the same way about you. We for those that don't know, we hosted the Golden Globes pre-show, red carpet together a couple years ago, and it was such a difficult day for me because my aunt had just passed, and she had passed like the day before, and I was coming to this rehearsal and meeting new people, and I didn't feel my normal bubbly self. And you and everyone else that we worked with that day just kind of met me in that space and just loved on me. And I literally collected you. You didn't know it, but I collected you on the spot. I'm like, she and I are going to be friends. And we have been friends since. So it's, sometimes you meet someone and I talk about how it's a heart connection. There's like a kindred spirit, on site, and so, yeah, I felt that when I met you.
I felt that too. Yeah. I felt that too. Now speaking of the industry, by the way, we both work in this business.
We do.
You moved from Ohio to Los Angeles to be a part of this industry. I'm curious to know that when you came here, were there any preconceived expectations from you as far as expecting Hollywood to be this fair playground, or, what did you expect and what did you actually end up finding?
You're such a great interviewer. No one has ever asked me that question. I've been in this business 20 years. No one's ever said, did Hollywood live up to what you expected? Oh. What's funny? I don't know that I had a lot of preconceived notions of what this would be. I came here to be a singer, and when I shifted to acting, my goal was just to do one commercial and one sitcom. So in my mind, if I can just knock those two things out, I will feel like I dipped my toe in. I did what I was supposed to do in this industry, and that's more than anyone could ask for. So there was no need to even think about preconceived notions because I only had to knock off two things. You
Wow.
know what I mean? So no matter whether it was a crazy cesspool of debauchery or heaven sent, it didn't really matter because I knew that I could, you know, navigate through whatever that was for the time it took to do those two things, you know? So I can say since it has lived up to my belief that it is a place where opportunity meets you if you're a decent person. I do believe that this industry, and hopefully like every industry, I feel like it rewards kindness, it rewards professionalism, it rewards, you know, decency. Now, there's some jerks that have success as well,
Right.
but that's an outlier. I think. I think the majority of people that do well are the Tom Hanks, the Will Smiths, the people that when you meet them, you're not meeting a stranger, where you can feel the love emanating from them. The Gary Marshalls, the Henry Winklers, the Ron Howards, those people are, you know, good soul people, you know, Loretta Devine, like I could go on, Marla Gibbs. There's just so many wonderful people that I've met in this industry that have that good heart, that kind heart. They're rooting for you and want you to win. And I hope that I can be on that list of people that do the same someday. So I received what I expected, which was a good ride.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear it. And I think you're already on that list. And
Oh,
you know that it's so important that you said that because I feel like the people that you mentioned,
mhm.
there is that barrier that's removed. So we're Hollywood entertainment, that's our career. We could
Yeah.
have been doctors, we could have been lawyers, right? We
Mhm.
chose industry. But at the end of the day, again, my full belief is that we're human beings.
Yes.
Created us as one. So the minute we take that, well, I'm a celebrity or I'm bigger than you or I'm an executive, at the end of the day, you strip all that down, we're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I have this thing when I talk to kids. I talk to kids sometimes at schools, and I always say either we're all special or none of us are.
I love that.
No one gets to decide that they're amazing and you're garbage. You know what I mean? So either everybody is amazing or we're all just regular folk. Like there's no hierarchy in my mind. And I talked to a kid on my live the other day, and he was going into high school for the first time. He said, "Do you have any advice?" I said, "Yeah, my advice is that no one gets to decide who you are and what you're capable of, but you. So anyone that's saying you're not cool or you're not, whatever their knots are for you, let it roll off your back like a duck. You get to decide your trajectory. You get to decide if you're amazing, and you find a group of friends that like the same thing you like, and you go through school with them and you go through life with them. My best friend, I've been friends with her since we were 10 years old. We were misfits in middle school. And we were like, well, I don't know why the cool kids get to decide who's cool. We cool. I've decided today that we cool. And we just are misshapen braces and, you know what I mean, weird hair. We just walked through the school like we were special too. And everyone was allowed to join us. We weren't like, you can't sit with us. Everybody can sit with us. There's love for all. And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. So that's the greatest thing that I talk to kids about, because I think it's important for them to realize that no one else gets to define you. And that's the same for all of us in the industry. No one else gets to tell you what you can do. No one else gets to tell you what you're capable of. You get to decide.
I'm so glad you shared that advice. I wish I could have gotten that advice, by the way, because I was a kid too. I was the uncool, unpopular people during lunchtime. And, you know, high school is such a pivotal time, and especially right now for our future generation. So I think teaching them, especially with everything going on right now, it's so key. It's so
because why do they get to decide? Like when you really boil it down to why do these 5 kids or 10 kids, whoever the cool kids are, why do they get to decide who matters? It makes absolutely no sense that the whole school falls under the hierarchy that these 5 or 6 people decide. But I just don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Yvette, at that point for me, I didn't know better. And I always think because my skin color was different.
Yeah. You know, and this is the thing. I went to a Black school. So for all through high school and junior high, I didn't have that barrier at school, thank God. So it was an even playing field because we were all Black. There were like maybe 1 or 2 white kids at our school, and maybe 1 or 2 Latinas, and everybody else was Black. So, but this is the thing, like we have to remind each other and remind ourselves that someone else decided that being brown or Black was bad. We didn't decide that. We didn't wake up one morning and go, I don't like myself. That happened because someone else said you shouldn't like yourself. And I'm saying we have to fight against that, because every Black and brown person I've ever seen is gorgeous and amazing. So I'm not going to believe anything other than that. I refuse. And that doesn't mean that the white folk ain't great too. Everybody great. Everybody's great. That's the thing. Either we're all special or none of us are.
I'm with you. But it's so interesting because I did go to a school with all different races.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up hanging out with all the Black, the Latino, and the Asian kids. And so still now looking back, there was that. But anyway, I'm going to come back to Hollywood real quick because did you realize that it's been 5 years since the hashtag Oscar So White?
No, has it been 5 years? Wow.
I was reading about that and I thought, wow, 5 years has gone by so fast. Yeah. Look, I'm going to say that there have been some changes. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been fast enough as we'd like to see, but definitely have been some changes. But from your perspective, because you are busy working and we're going to talk about that a little bit, to what extent do you think that white privilege is still an issue in Hollywood?
Well, until people of color are the decision makers, we're always going to be a little bit behind the curve, because until we are network studio heads and film studio heads, we don't really get to decide what gets greenlit and what doesn't. And there was something that came out after everybody put their little black squares up. They said, well, that's lovely. Let's look at your executive offices. And they started posting pictures of all the executive offices for all of the big corporations. And it was what you expected. It was like a lot of white people and like one, little Black person and one Latino or whatever, just kind of sprinkled in. And what I've been talking about lately is that we're not seasoning. We are not a condiment or a spice that you throw on to season a plate that is a little bland. Right. We are the meal. And again, none of these things mean that other people are not great too, but it's just, we deserve a chance to tell our stories. We deserve a chance to decide who gets through the gate. We deserve a shot at that, because this world is diverse. This nation is diverse, and everyone deserves to see themselves. There's something about seeing yourself. I remember when Anika Noni Rose was the first Black Disney princess, what that meant to me. And I was good and grown at the time she played Princess Tiana, but the idea of thinking of all the little girls that could go into a store and buy a Disney princess doll that looked like them. We had Black dolls, but we didn't have a Disney princess doll. And now I'm on Elena of Avalor, which is the first Latina princess. And the idea that little Latinas can now go and see themselves and go, oh, she looks like me and she's ruling a kingdom like me. Those things really change what they color what you think is possible for you in this world. And so I'm happy that more people are getting to play. They're getting permission, allowed to play. But that only happens when there's more people of color going, why don't we have a Black Disney princess? Or why is our entire schedule on Wednesday night all white family shows? And why are all the Black shows relegated to this one night? Why can't we go from a white family show to an Asian family show to an Indian family show why does it have to be all like together? Like these are questions that if we had more Black studio heads, we would ask, why is that? And can we change that? And the answer is yes.
It's the gatekeepers. And that's the discussion I've been having too for the past few years, that it's the gatekeepers are the ones who make those decisions. So it's the diverse group of people. It's easy to say, oh, we're going to be diverse. And what does that mean for inclusion? And we're going to do it. But when you're actually, it's like, if you're going to talk the talk, let's really walk the walk and understand what that means. Like, don't listen, but understand. And the doll thing, Yvette, can you imagine as the little Indian girl? I never saw that. And I craved it. And so Disney recently released a Indian cartoon, Royal Detective.
Yes.
I cried when I actually interviewed the cast of that, because it was emotional to know that a cartoon was out there like this. And it's fun of me wearing a dot on my head or an Indian outfit. And there was a doll. There was a Mira doll who at some point, I'm like, that doll comes out. I don't care how old I am.
Well, let me tell you this. I'm old. I think I'm a bit older than you. So I'm old enough to remember when Barbie did the Dolls of the World. And my most beautiful Barbie doll I had as a kid was my Indian Barbie.
Oh,
she had this beautiful red outfit, you remember? And I that doll was the most beautiful doll I had ever seen, and to this day that I've ever seen. So I'm thankful to Mattel for realizing that we needed everyone to be represented in Barbies. And this was back in, you know, the late 80s or 90s. So yeah. You remember that doll?
yes, I do. I was so
Gorgeous.
when I saw that doll because it made me, you know what? It made me realize for the first time that Indian women could be pretty.
I've always thought they were, but but I had that doll. So but see, that's the thing. That's why representation matters, because a little black kid in East Cleveland, I don't think I'd ever seen an Indian person in real life. You know what I mean? My community was black. So there weren't any other races. And so when I went and saw that doll and my mom said, which one do you want? I said, I want her,
Oh,
because she was beautiful. And she had a little belly out. I said, oh, she's showing the belly. I was like, yes, girl. So no, it's, you know, it's important to see yourself, you know, and I think that's why also more people of color need to be okay with stepping back from being in front to becoming producers and directors and whatever, you know. I feel that I'm nearing the end of my ability to wear Spanx. I don't feel my body wants to do it anymore. And at a certain point, you got to take the Spanx off and step to the back. And I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to become a producer or a director or something else that allows me to say, ooh, let's bring that person in. Ooh, I love him. Let's bring him in. I want to be able to provide opportunities. The movie that I wrote, that Always a Bridesmaid, is streaming on Netflix.
well, I was going to talk about that, guys.
Good.
You would
Yes.
see it. It's such an adorable film. I had so much fun watching it.
Thank you. And
You executive produced it.
I did. And so getting to be an executive producer and also and writing it, I was able to go, this is who this character is. Even if the person had no credits, even if the person was not on the list, you know, those lists that they have of approved people, we fought for a couple of people to get their shot. And that film was their first, you know, romantic comedy that they were in, or the first time they played a lead in a movie. I love being able to provide that. It's not, the funny thing is I only acted in the film because we knew that if I did, we could promote it more and I could be out as a face promoting it. I had no desire to even be in the film. Like, I was cool with just being executive producer and having written it. And so it's you need to be able to set that need to be out front aside, and then use the whatever connections you've built to other people's advantage. That's what you're supposed to do at a certain point, I think.
No, I mean, I agree. And the cast was fabulous. I mean, every character in there. I love the two leads, of course. Love with them. But, you know, everybody just, the synergy was so wonderful.
Yeah.
I think you're one person that, like, I love seeing in front of the screen and behind the screen.
Thank you.
I'm just in awe. Seriously. I'm not like fan, like as a fan too, but as a friend, to think of, I think you were probably one of the busiest artists during quarantine. Say, guys, she had so many things going on, and I'm just going to name a few. I'm probably going to.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Aside from acting with TV shows, and then you get the reunion with Community, voiceover work. My gosh, from different animations. You've got another one that just came out on Hulu, Crossing Swords, which is not for kids.
Not for kids. Not for kids. I've been screaming that. Like, I've been saying it before I say the title and I go, not for kids. Yeah.
Animation. You released your own documentary this year as well.
Okay, we re-released, and thank you for bringing that up. We did a documentary, Jen Clymer and MJ Miller and I did a documentary on infrastructure, our nation's infrastructure, and why it's important to fix our roads and bridges and our water systems. Flint, Michigan continues to be a touch point, a touchstone for us to realize how horrible this is, what's happening in Puerto Rico, the fact that they still don't have all of their electricity back after that hurricane. Be Prepared to Stop is the name of the documentary. It's free on YouTube, and it's a great way for those that keep hearing the word infrastructure but don't really know what it means. It's a great way for them to go, oh, that doesn't seem like it's too hard to fix. We come up with a lot of strategies and things that we could do, but it's going to take all of us rolling our sleeves up and fighting to make sure that the bridge you drive over or under does not fall on top of you. How about that?
No, that's great though. And that's such an important thing. We don't think about that. Right?
We don't.
On our roads, and we keep driving. So I'm so grateful to you for, bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
And making us see that. But I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Game show host.
Yeah.
Show. Plus, she is a game show participant as well on
Yeah.
Game.
Hollywood Game Night.
I mean, there is just, and then you did live shows during the quarantine, also, supporting big causes and to help people. I sometimes wonder, is there something though that is a burning desire for you, Yvette? Because I feel like you've been so fortunate to dabble in so many things and have fun. It's fun. Our business is fun, no doubt.
Yeah.
But is there something as an artist or just as a vet that's a burning desire for you that you haven't done yet?
After hearing that list, my biggest burning desire is a nap. It would be so great. I tried to get one today before you and I spoke, and I ended up having to do something for my mom. She was going through some stuff with her apartment. So I was fighting that. This is so funny. I don't know if people don't really believe me when I say this, but I'm not really ambitious. I just am someone that, my greatest prayer has been, Lord, use me, like I'm available. So coming from that place of availability, if something comes up, like even this opportunity to talk with you, I'm not saying yes to everybody, but I'm checking in with God. When someone,
I tell you, I feel honored.
Honey, the honor is mine. But when a friend, or even not even a friend, if just anyone says, would you like to do this? I check in to say, is this what I'm supposed to be doing with my time? And if he says yes, then he gives me this, enough energy to do it. So all the things that you listed was just someone going, could you, would you, are you available? And if it's something like, speak with Dr. Bernice King at the King Center about racial relations in America. Yeah, that's a yes. If it's, host the MPTF, Motion Picture Television Fund telethon so that we can help with their COVID, relief fund. That's a yes. Work with Tom Bergeron. That's a yes. Guest co-host The View. Yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
One, sorry.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. But I'm saying, like, just everything that's coming. It's like, I feel that we're in a place of reset for this country. The soul of our nation is at stake. And I know that love is the answer. So anytime a camera can be on me for me to be able to tell people that love is the answer, I need to say yes to that opportunity. So that's how I'm guiding it. But it's not I want to conquer the world. I've never said it. I've never believed it. Never had that desire. I literally just want to be used by God wherever he wants to use me. And I've moved through life with that as my goal.
I love that. And see, this is why we click, because every morning before I start my day, I meditate, and my prayer is always, let me know how I can be of service today. Please.
That's all it is.
Show me the way, who am I supposed to be talking to, but let me know how I can be of service.
That's how it is. And this is the thing. We need more servant leaders. We have a lot of leaders that want to go, ah! No, the real leaders are servants.
Right. No, that's why I'm doing Raw with Rasha and talking to you, because I want this platform to give that voice and to have those conversations. And that's what I wanted to ask you too, because I think listening, is so important. And I know there's so much dialogue happening out there. But the power of listening and truly understanding is key. But in there also is that some people are having an uncomfortable and uneasy feeling. What's your advice to people? Because right now we're going to have a lot more conversations of it. It doesn't stop here. And I'm fortunate that I have a lot of lovely friends that I grew up with from the African-American community that I feel comfortable with, but other people don't.
Right.
But what advice can you give to them as far as having an uncomfortable conversation?
The best thing I can say to white people waking up to racism is that we're fighting systemic racism. We're not fighting you. We're not. We're fighting the systems in this country that have prevented people of color, marginalized people, Black people, Native Americans, Latinas, Asia, it's the whole gamut of the others. There are systems in this country that put a boot on your neck, that keep you from buying property or keep you from owning a business. Like, there's things like that are baked into the cake of this country, and they're rooted in racism. Every single one of us should be fighting that. I have no anger towards people. It's the system that's got to go. So I think when people understand that I'm not coming for you, I'm coming for this horrible thing that's happening in our country that's causing Black people to be killed in the streets and cops getting away with it. We're gonna fight that, but I'm not fighting cops. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a slight, you know, different way of looking at it. And if you realize that I'm not coming for you, then maybe you can walk with me. You're only defensive when you feel like someone's coming for you. And honestly, you know, what are you defensive about? Like I did another show and we were talking about the Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. And my friends, I think it was when I was talking to the Morgans, and they were like, well, what would you say to those that say all lives matter or who are upset with Black Lives Matter? I would ask them, why are you so upset by it? Like, let's unpack why hearing that phrase makes you, rah, because it's really not a bad phrase. So why are you reacting to it, you know, in that way? Like, let's really start to figure out what's going on with you and what do you think that means? Because I can tell you what it means, and it's nothing that should cause that level of anger. So once we start there and we start to talk about feelings and you know, it gets a little, you know, there's a great show I binge watched last night, which is why I'm probably a little tired today. I did it to myself. I binge watched Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh,
That show, girl,
amazing.
that show, I feel like every white person that does the whole all lives matter thing, they need to watch Little Fires Everywhere to just understand, I mean, hopefully understand what microaggressions are, the certain leg up that white privilege provides. And again, it's not sinister to be white. It's not sinister to have privilege. It's what you do with your privilege. If you use your privilege to the benefit of others, then it's okay. You know, we're on television. We're entertainers. We have privilege. Yeah. So the whole thing is, I'm not supposed to be a known person or more recognizable person just so I can walk around and go, listen, everybody better do this, and this is what I need, and you pull out them green M&Ms. That's not what it's for. It's for me to be able to say, hey, we need to be kinder to the background actors. You guys have them sitting over there and they're in the sun. Can we find a place for the background actors to sit where they're not, you know, directly in the sunlight? I don't want anybody to have a heat stroke. That's me using my privilege on a set for the benefit of other people. And that's a microcosm of what those that have privilege in America should be doing for other people. You just use it. That's all. It's just a tool. Just use it for good.
Yeah. Can you imagine if every person lived like that? What an amazing place we'd have. I mean,
yeah, and I think it's possible. You just have to get over yourself. I don't need anything for myself. I'm not chasing anything for myself. Any good that I get is for other people. Yeah. And that's the thing about the blessings of God. And I always talk about, like, when God blesses you, you want the overflow, right? So if you keep your hand tight, what he gives you just is there for you, right? But you want to receive like this so that the extra can then go down and bless other people. He never blesses, that's my dog Harley barking, we're going to just let him do it. He never blesses just for you. Any gift that you have, any blessing you have is for the good of everyone. So when you start thinking about it like that, then you're not hoarding money, you're not hoarding your gifts, you're not hoarding your opportunity, you're not hoarding your privilege. Everything you have, you're like, ooh, who is this supposed to go to? I got enough for me. I got my food. I got a roof over my head. You know, my kids or husband or whatever, wife are all taken care of. Now, what can I do with this excess to benefit other people and expect nothing in return? That's the other side. Yes. You're not supposed to give looking in the direction. I done gave to Sally. I need Sally to give back to me. You give to Sally. Sally will give to whoever she's supposed to give to. And God is so good. Your blessing will come back from a direction you're not even expecting. That's what's so dope about it.
I'm such a believer of that. You know, my God, I think you've said everything so eloquently, perfectly, that I want to end on that note, because I think at the end of the day, it's going back and we have to look within ourselves first. So if we want to be a change, if we want to help make the change, you've got to go within yourself to see where does that healing need to be done? Where you open up more, right?
Right.
What else you want to say before we head out here today? I know you've got a busy day. She's got corporate premieres happening virtually. It's amazing.
I do. It's my first virtual premiere. It's a project Halle Berry created. I tweeted about it today. So I don't even know if I need to dress up. Do I need to put another lipstick on? I don't know how a virtual premiere goes.
I have to call you after because I was curious. Now our show's going to be airing after all of this. At least we'll have had a chance to talk about it.
Yeah, I would love to talk about it once I know what it is. I do want to shout out the Big Fib. That's the the super fun kid show that I host and produce for Disney Plus. And I'm shouting it out, not just like watch my stuff, but because it's really an opportunity for kids to be in the driver's seat. And I feel like the babies are going to be the ones that are going to lead us out of this current fresh hell that we're in. And so I love that this show creates a lane for them to see themselves leading. All the adults are like stepping back and letting the babies drive this ship. And so I love it. There's 15 episodes. It's an educational show. Families can learn together. The whole goal of the show is for the kid to listen to an expert and a fibber, and the kid needs to figure out which one of the two is the fibber. And it's a fun game. Like, even if you think you know everything about jellyfish or professional basketball or whatever the topic is of the day, you will learn something. And then you also get to play, amateur sleuth to see if you have the skills to figure out who's the fibber. So the Big Fib on Disney Plus is what I want to make sure I shout out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And guys,
thank you.
I've had Yvette's social media there, so make sure if you're following her, amazing. But if you aren't, please do connect with her. Please follow her. She's got just a lot of inspiring messages and a lot of love to share, which this whole world can use. Yvette, thank you so much. I love you so much.
I love you, honey.
Talk to me today.
Oh my God, thanks for having me. And I know guys, I called her 3-4 times. We moved it around about 3-4 times, but I'm glad we made it and we got to talk, and it's all good.
And thank you for being raw with me.
Always. And here, I want to show my shirt. Walk by faith.
I'm a big believer of that.
Yeah. We need that right now.
Yeah, we totally do. Wishing you lots of love, Yvette. Thank you so much.
Thank you, honey. Thanks for having me.